We are back on NFL Daily, and we are so excited to be joined by the general manager of the Los Angeles Rams, Les Snead, who insisted before we started taping that he wants to hold an official NFL Daily card, note
This is
card.
where all the answers are.
What if you had written something on that note card, what would it say to be prepared for an interview like this?
Tell them nothing.
That's good. You know, I was looking.
Be interesting, tell them nothing.
Yeah,
Although Jourdan, it's like we're in church now. We're going to start giggling. She's starting to laugh, so this could mess
You guys know each other
No,
too well.
I can't even look at him. I'm just happy he's not chomping on a freaking piece of gum right now. I was so worried about that.
What's wrong with gum?
That would have been disrespectful on a podcast. I think it's like a power move. If you're chewing gum on some level, I think you're saying to the host, I don't fully respect you. That's how I would interpret it.
Who's someone that is known for chewing gum? It's got to be a baseball. Somebody in baseball.
Pete
Big
Carroll.
league chew, some manager.
Pete Carroll, but he
Carroll?
takes it out for the
Okay,
interview.
that is Pete Carroll. He
Yeah.
owns that.
He really does.
I like it. Yeah,
So-
don't want to follow in his footsteps with the gum.
We had you back on the Around the NFL podcast back in the day, and it got me thinking that, you know, you've been in this job for a while, obviously back to St. Louis. I did the math. This will be your 14th season. There's only one general manager in the league, if we're not counting owners. I'm not counting Jerry Jones or Mike Brown.
He counts. He's got the title.
He doesn't. He doesn't count. Only one general manager in the league, uninterrupted, has had the job longer than you, Lesney. That's Mickey Loomis. Howie's close, but they moved him into a closet for 3 years or whatever was going on. So what has been the secret to making it last that long in a league where you just don't see runs that last that long?
I wish I knew that answer. But at the end of the day, I think it's probably coming to work, keeping the main thing, and making sure you're surrounded by a lot of quality people. At the end of the day, the Los Angeles Rams is a collective of a bunch of special people or people with special gifts, edges, things that differentiate them. And we're trying to engineer a collective that's competent, that's very competent, that's highly competent in a 32-team league. So that's one of the keys is making sure there's a lot of people, not only that bring an edge to the Rams, but are willing to, at some level along the way, sacrifice for the good of the Los Angeles Rams.
We were just we were talking to Darius Williams, and he was reiterating some of our opinion that you guys told the league and told the fans, told us in the media, kind of what you were and what you plan to be this offseason with some of the moves you made in free agency, Poona Ford, Davante Adams, the draft, the way you drafting for depth in key areas, drafting for a little bit of a change-up skill set in other areas, drafting and plucking bringing people in free agency as if you're a contention team, believe you're a contention team, but it started with making sure Matthew Stafford was back in the building. And you called it a vow renewal, which I think was the quote that lasts from it. What did that set off in terms of the ripple effect for going about maybe your A-plus plan in free agency and then the draft? And when will we see him throw? You threw that in there at the end.
I like that. That time will tell when we see him throw it. You can tell he's chomping at the bit. I was joking with him today as he was at practice, and there has been some times where standing around a practice can be a little bit of a net negative. Your hamstrings get tight, but he's you can tell he's antsy. He wants to get out. The key is when we renewed our vows, we then knew, okay, that we, as you mentioned, you call it contenders. There's an element of what window you're in. The last few years as we've remodeled this thing, back when you were covering us as a beat writer, and since you've moved on to the big time.
Was that 2 months ago?
So we were on a Zoom, and they were like, you were rebuilding. I'm like, this is a remodel. We got Matthew Stafford. And they're like, no, you're rebuilding. And, I was trying to, but they weren't, I say they, our writers. So we had fun talking about that. The point I'm trying to make is we have efficacy in that in both years we've started in a hole. Both years we've got out of that hole. 1 year we made the playoffs. 1 year we won the division. So there's an F. Now again, that means nothing. All that does is show that the core we have knows they can go compete for a division. It means nothing in 2025 because we haven't kicked off yet. We hadn't played a game yet. We aren't who we are going to be yet. But when Matthew came back and we said, you know what, hey, let's try to go do something special, whatever that is. Again, we're going to take it moment to moment, day to day, and then that just again sets the blueprint of what you might do next to add, fill in holes, whatever you want to call it, in our continuing of the remodel.
Yeah,
Retool.
to that
Sprint
end,
rebuild.
like, when did Davante come on your radar? Is that something where your pro personnel department are already thinking he's possibly going to be available, or looking at him during the season, and or what point in the off season are you thinking like we can maybe get this
Yeah,
done?
I think again they were going through a regime change in New York. The Jets there knew his contract situation, so there's an element of this person might or has a chance to come available depending on what they do there, and again maybe what they do with their let's call it whatever reimagining of their regime there. So you always prepare, but until he's free or until it's communicated he is going to be free, that's when you go, you know what? There's an opportunity here that's presented itself, and do we want to take advantage of it?
Les, one of the themes of just not only the football side, but also the scouting and talent identification sides over the past couple of years in this building has been sort of this fluidity, or able to shape shift, able to evolve as the league evolves and changes, and challenges you guys in certain ways in both of those areas. What do you think it is about that sort of collective personality? Like, where does that come from? I know you have it and Sean has it, but how does it really kind of permeate? How do you guys effectively get everybody to be of that?
Really good question. I'm not sure. It's interesting when you are who you are, you don't. I think it's as simple as this, and a lot of teams try to do it. I call it, we've all seen it in the NFL, whether it's a certain player or a concept, some team's going to present it for the first time, and there's going to be an element, a lot of teams are copying that, and if you're copying it, you're already behind, but that concept can live for a little bit. But even over the course of 18-week, 17-game season, if that concept is really punishing opponents, people are going to try to, let's call it, suffocate that concept. So you're always just naturally in a 32-team lead where the margin of victory and margin of loss is not a lot of points. So it's just in your DNA if you get in this that, okay, we have to somehow attempt to stay ahead of the curve. And the interesting thing is you're not sure when you try to stay ahead whether it's going to work or not, but you do know staying pat and doing the same thing is probably eventually people are going to catch up with you and probably pass you.
Jourdan actually went back and listened to the old interviews you had done on our old podcast before, and it got me thinking on the way here too. Is there such a thing as watching too much tape? Because to me, that's too much preparation. She doesn't need to go listen to the old interviews. She knows you. She knows the Rams. Like, what is that? Is there such a thing in your business, watching too much tape? At a certain point, is it
there
too
probably
much?
is an element of paralysis by analysis. I think we were having our kind of front office get together before we all disperse, or a lot of our guys disperse to go do their thing preparing for the draft or in the pro scouting department. But at the end of the day, we did joke though that kind of toward the end there when you get into the playoffs and it could be Oregon versus Ohio State, and because that game was recent and it was a big game and there's a lot of players in it, you end up thinking like, boy, we watched a lot of tape, but really it was the Oregon-Ohio State game 1,000 times. Or I remember the year before, Michigan, Washington, Texas, those Final Four games, because it's when you get everybody involved, it's like, oh, we just saw that game on television. It's good, and usually there's a lot of players on it. So, yeah, the answer to your question is preparation is key. There is an element where, okay, just put the clicker down, make a decision.
It was
I feel
also
like I'm getting scolded.
Yeah, an indirect way for me to take a little shot at Jourdan. But I think you did
She's probably
very well
poster child,
following
paralysis.
what it says on that note card that you just threw down.
You got to throw it down, and then you just got to go.
It was very entertaining, but you gave away nothing. Talking about the draft, it did make me think about your guys' situation.
What if I took your card?
It's fine.
Take it, do it.
No. There's nothing bad on there, but no. Is there a little feeling of you that's going to feel bad this year rooting against your old friends Raheem Morris and the Atlanta Falcons? Because you have this extra first-round pick, and let's be real, if that pick, the higher it is, the better it is for Los Angeles Rams in it. And will that possibly change, like, how you're evaluating this draft in general? And
business is business.
And so you won't feel bad rooting against
business
the
is
Falcons.
business.
You got it.
No, I didn't tell you whether I'd feel bad or not.
Yeah. I think we could discern the answer based on your facial expression. I will say, a couple of people you might have to be rooting against, whether it's during the season or in the draft. You got a bit of a GM tree, an executive tree at this point. Brad Holmes in Detroit. What I think is so cool is how he and Dan Campbell built that team together very methodically, sort of into a crescendo that it is now. And then James Gladstone in Jacksonville for the first time, friend of the show, been on the show.
Y'all invited him on before me.
I mean, you're welcome.
You're always welcome to come on.
Come on. You're right here.
We could go back. James is Jordan's favorite.
Is
I
it?
have no favorrit.
In the pulling, like, are we gonna pull against when we go to London?
Business is business.
Like we want to punch James. Jordan's pulling for James.
Business is business.
You know what? I'm gonna go there. You gotta love probably one of the toughest things to do in sports. It's go somewhere and engineer an identity. Now they're just starting in Jacksonville, but going to Brad and his partnership with Dan, and again, everyone else who's been through there. And now they have 2 head coaches, and Ben and Aaron in Chicago and in New York. But to go and do that's easier said than done. Give them credit, because it just fills Detroit what they've done, right? I don't know. I don't know if we could. Maybe ChatGPT could articulate it. But
no,
it just feels.
We're very
Detroit.
anti.
We're anti-chat GPT on the show.
GPT
We've decided to take that stance. I don't know how you feel about that.
But I will say, Les.
No comment.
It is interesting because everybody does it in a different way, and I guess I wonder, as we kind of get you out of here, and thank you for your time today. What's one thing maybe you told them about that? Not the team building, not the pitfalls, not the things to look out for, not the doing the media all the time, whatever. The advice that maybe you gave each of them respectively about what it takes and what it really means to build an identity, because you and Sean did that when you guys went out and hired Sean.
It's interesting. The number one is go be authentic, be who you are. Again, in both cases, you're going to partner with a head coach who's going to bring it all to life, or that is his and his staff's responsibility to bring it life. So that partnership has to begin, and then they have to combine the DNAs and engineer. That's number one. You can't take the Rams and take it somewhere else, because Sean and my partner, and everyone in the building, we're 9, 10, however many years into it. So you can't go and do what we're doing now. They're day one. That takes time. So that's the 2 things. Be who you are, partner with your head coach. Y'all come up with who y'all are going to be, that organization's going to be under their leadership. And then number 2, remember, you can't just take us there.
And number 3, you can't beat us in London, because that feels like already you're the one that brought it up. It feels like you're competitive. You're competitive just over trying to be Jordan's favorite. There's no way you want to lose to the Jaguars.
I'd lose some sleep.
Paralysis by overanalysis.
That is Les Snead, general manager of the Los Angeles Rams.